Recently, I've been trying to lose weight. Well, let me correct that. I've been trying to get healthy to lose weight because I heard before, you don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy and you lose weight. And it's not so much about the weight for me. It's about just being healthy as I can be. I want to be a good steward, a good manager of the life God has given me. I want to be faithful over the time, talent, and treasures God has given me. And that includes my health. Well, my wife went through this program called Functional Health. And so she suggested I do it too, where they do all these blood tests and all these other tests, more tests than you usually get a normal doctor visit, your normal checkup. So I did it. So I filled out the questionnaire, and the questionnaire says, are you taking any medicines? No. Are you taking any vitamins? Yes. What vitamins are you taking? Listed all my vitamins, and the next column said, why are you taking these vitamins? And I was like, I don't know, because somebody on the internet said I should be taking this, or a few of them, my doctor said I should be taking them. And so it made me think, of why am I doing what I'm doing? When we think about that, that should apply to every area of life. Why am I doing the things I'm doing? The little and the big things. What's the purpose? Well, today's verse that I've chosen today for our series, Rooted and Ready, really helped me see my purpose. What is my purpose in life? Why am I here on this earth? I know I've been saved by Christ, but now what's my purpose? I mean, some people say you should get saved and go right to heaven because you're done. No, there's a purpose. And today's verse will help us look at that purpose. And I'll share with you why it was so important to me and how it, again, shaped my faith and transformed my life. And this day 28, see, I keep messing up the dates, y'all. Let me see what date we're on. This is so much fun. Day 28 of our series, Rooted and Ready. I'm Mr. Brown. This is Proclaim Ministries, helping you connect faith and life. Whether you're a kid, teen, or an adult, we want to help you connect faith and life to live a way that is pleasing to God. And so today's verse is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. And when I started learning about this verse, about whether you eat or drink, whatever you do all to the glory of God, it really shaped my faith. Like, I felt like I had a purpose. I felt like there was more than just going to church, going through the motions, but I had a purpose, not just in the big things. Because sometime in church, I felt like, well, you got to be a preacher. You got to be doing ministry. But you know what? You can bring God glory as a shoe salesman at the local athletic store. You can bring God glory at a law firm. You can bring God glory as a cashier at a store. You can bring God glory by doing one of the oddest jobs I've ever heard of before, cleaning out porta potties. You can bring God glory doing that. At least that's what this verse teaches me, and that's how I approach it. Everything I do, I want to bring God glory. So the verse is 1 Corinthians 10:31, which says this: so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. This verse really has shaped my faith and transformed my life. But I'm going to read the context to you. I'm not going to teach it all. There's a lot to teach here. I'm going to focus on that verse, but I want to give you the context of it. And I think sometimes reading a verse out of context can make you have the wrong meaning of it. And sometimes you can read a verse out of context, but sometimes that verse has a principle that you find other places in the Bible that gives it clarity as well. But I'm going to read this whole passage to you, and then I'm going to break down a little and just share with you what I've learned from it, how to apply it to my life, how I've been applying it to my life every single day, and how it really shaped my faith. So 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. No, I'm starting at verse 23 and I might read to 33. Let's do 23 to 30, 10 verses. Here we go. All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Eat whatever is sold in the meat market without raising any questions on the grounds of conscience. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. If one of the unbelievers invites you to dinner and you dispose to go, eat whatever is set before you without raising any questions on the ground of conscience. But if someone says to you, this has been offered in sacrifice, then do not eat it for the sake of the one who informed you and for the sake of conscience. I do not mean your conscience, but his. For why should my liberty be determined by someone else's conscience? If I partake with thankfulness, why am I denounced because of that for which I give thanks? So, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. Give no offense to Jews or to Greeks or to the church of God, just as I try to please everyone in everything I do, not seeking my own advantage, but that of many, that they may be saved. There's a whole lot there. And I'm not trying to pick and choose, but I'm just trying to focus on this one verse. There's a lot there. Not trying to pick and choose, but I want to focus on the one verse that's in the middle of that, verse 31. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. And so I want to kind of break that down and share with you why it meant so much to me. And I kind of have already, the idea that I understood I had purpose. See, this year I chose to pick a word for the year, but I rearranged that so it's not just for the whole year, it's for a season in my life. And the season I'm currently in, my word for this season is intentionality. That I want to do things intentionally, not just out of haphazardly, just whatever comes. I'm really trying to get rhythms of intentionality. So when I wake up, and at first I was trying to wake up at the same time every day, but doesn't work for me. So I'm trying to get a rhythm when I wake up on certain days, and certain days I may sleep in because sometimes I stay up so late and I don't want to beat myself up, but I'm trying to get a rhythm, but I'm doing it with intention. Last night I didn't go to bed till almost 3 a.m. because I was working on some stuff that had to get done. Will that be every week? No. Will that be No, I can't do that. But I wanted to get this project done. And I think I look at it like seed time and harvest. When the harvest comes, you got to stay until you get all the harvest, otherwise it won't be there. So that's kind of look at some things, but I'm trying to be intentional about what I'm doing. Even in my eating now, I've been eating with intentionality, not just eating because food is present. I want to take care of this body. And so every time I see food and, oh, it looks good, I'm not going to eat it. Is this my time to eat? Am I being intentional? I look at food as fuel. Yes, it can taste good and yes, it feels good, but sometimes the chemicals and things in our food makes us so addicted to it. We just eat it because it's there. So I want to be intentional. And this goes along with this verse that whatever I eat or drink, whatever I do, talking about physical food, do all to the glory of God. Can I do the little things in life to the glory of God as well as the big things? So let's break this down little by little the best I can. So he starts with the word so that's like a word therefore. So what is Paul talking about? Well, he's going back to what he talked about in chapter 8 through 10, where he talked about Christian freedoms, our conscience, food sacrifice to idols, and loving others more than and proving a point. So the fact that if somebody's conscience is weak and they think, hey, you shouldn't eat that food because offered idols, I'm going to serve you by not eating it. But if you come to my house, I'm going to eat this food because I know there's no such thing as other gods, and God's given this food. I'm going to give thanks to it and eat this food. I'm going to enjoy it. The argument here is like, what do you do? So everything that's going on, how do we distill this thing down? He says, they were struggling what they should do, what's best reflects God's glory. This verse doesn't start with our behavior, but it starts with the belonging of who we belong to. So whether you eat or drink, who do you belong to? All this is talking about that we are doing everything for the glory of God. He's going to get to that in a moment. But the second part, whatever you eat or drink, I don't know why Paul chose these three things. And maybe it's because they're daily, ordinary, unavoidable things that we can do. You're not always going to go out to eat with everybody else, but you will always eat, you always drink. So those two things are common to everybody. So I maybe picked them because they're ordinary. And I think that's a thing that really struck out to me, that I can do the mundane, ordinary things to God's glory, and I can do the big things to God's glory. I can go out and preach and teach and what I think is big versus just the small things that I do every day to glorify God. All of it counts. Eating counts, drinking counts, the small stuff counts. So he says, so whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do. I think that's all inclusive. Whatever you do, this isn't like, hey, pressure, but this is purpose. Are you doing whatever you're doing with a purpose? Do it on purpose and not just because you're doing it. And that survey made me really think, why am I taking this vitamin? Why am I taking this? So I do some more research, and I was taking too many of the same vitamins. I was not really doing anything good for my body. I'm wasting money. So I didn't really think about what am I doing and why am I doing it? So whether you eat or drink or whatever, all inclusive that you do, whatever you do it for a purpose. Do it with reason. Do it with structure. And that, honestly, that gave me more excitement about life every day. It gave me, I guess, really purpose that I can do these things to glorify God. There's a purpose behind everything that I do. Then he says, do it all to the glory of God. That word glory means doxa. I think that's in the Greek, but it means weighty or worthy or reputation. The idea that God's glory is the purpose of my life. I am to live for the glory of God. I'm not performing. I'm not trying to be perfect, but I'm aligning my life to glorify the one who loved me and gave himself for me. I'm looking to God. Glorifying God is living in a way that makes him look as good as he really is. Like, we can't make God look good. We can reflect how good God is because we can't make God look bad. God is still glorious. He's awesome. He's amazing. Am I reflecting that or am I dimming that in the way I live? Because we've been made to glorify God. Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. The Bible says in Romans 11:36, for from him, through him, and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. Thinking Isaiah talks about we're made for God's glory. So we were made to glorify, to show off, to, I don't want to say reflect, but like portray how awesome God is. And I can do that. Whatever I eat, whatever I drink, or whatever I do, I can do it to glorify God. See, this verse is not about me being religious. It really helped me think about being religious, but even though it can be a religious word, living for the glory of God, but help me be rooted in a real purpose. That God is saying, hey, that's my boy. It reminds me of a verse in Hebrews where it says, God was not ashamed to be called their God. I think it's in Hebrews chapter 11. That God was not ashamed to be called their God. I want God to say that about me, that I'm reflecting how awesome God is. Kind of like I talk to a lot of students when they lose a parent, and this is something I've tried to adopt in my own life after losing my mom, is I try to live in a way that kind of honors her life. That people would say, "Oh, that's Glory Jean's boy. Yeah, look, that's Glory Jean's boy. You know, that's Glory Jean's boy." And I want that from God. That's God's child right there. That he's representing the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And this thing isn't about perfection. I want you to be so like, I got to be perfect. It's not about perfection, but purpose. What is my purpose? What am I reaching for? What am I striving for? We talked about with Paul, that Paul is striving toward the upward call that's in God in Christ Jesus. So this verse helped me be rooted in my identity that I'm a child of God, but it also helps me be ready to live with purpose to glorify God, that I get to reflect him. See, I think we live in a world today that says, in order to glorify God, you got to be famous. Matter of fact, I've been asking kids lately, because they always, you want to be famous. Every time I pull out my camera, are we going to be famous? No. It's not going to YouTube. You're not going to be famous. But I ask the question, do you want to be famous? I give them this question. If you're on a soccer team or a basketball team, would you want to be a good player or a famous player? And some kids, I want to be famous. Why? Fame is about you. Being good is about supporting your team. And I think we live in a world that in order for us to be doing something that's worthy, we have to be big. But that's not God's kingdom. God is going to be glorified from the people who sometimes are way behind the scenes, that are serving faithfully, because God sees those people. God sees them doing the ordinary day-to-day things in a way that glorifies God. I think sometimes we look at stay-at-home moms as they don't have a job. They got an amazing job. And the work that they do isn't always praised, but guess who sees it? God does. And I pray that if you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, and the work you're putting in behind the scenes, that you would sense God's presence in your daily work, because it matters. Taking care of kids, taking them to school, homeschooling, taking care of the house and the home, and making an environment for your family to flourish, that's an amazing thing. And I know the world won't say, oh, look at you, unless you got an Instagram account, unless you're doing daily vlogs. Then the world will say, hey, you're doing a good job. But guess what? God is seeing everything you're doing. And so whether you change diapers, whether you fold clothes, you can do all that to the glory of God. Do it in a way that reflects and honors God as the God of the universe. And even if you're going out of the house to work, do it in a way that glorifies God. If you're cleaning toilets, do it in a way that glorifies God. Do it with an idea that I am doing this to represent the God of the universe. And when I'm done washing that toilet, God, this is the best toilet I did the best job. Look at that toilet shine for your glory. That you're serving other people in a way that honors God. So I think this verse has really helped me see no matter what I'm doing, whether you eat or drink or whatever, that whatever is all encompassing for our lives. What we think are big, what we think is little, to the glory of God. And I often think of this because I do a lot of videos, and a lot of times like to capture moments. And sometimes, like the other day, I made these protein brownies, and I put a camera on my chest and just made all the brownies and put it online, and people saw it. And sometimes I see things in our lives that we do. I watch my wife and the amazing work she does with the kids. And I often say my wife, my theme for my wife is this: she creates beauty and goodness in the world. Everything she touches, she's working with typewriter stuff now. She's doing block printing, literally cutting out the blocks. She does all this stitching. She does embroidery. She made another beautiful shirt that she's going to wear that she embroidered herself. The girl is amazing. And sometimes I want to pull out a camera and show it, like, show the world how amazing she is. And so I don't think she always wants that. But think about this. God is the one watching our lives. We're making vlogs every day. We're making videos every day. And our number one subscriber is God. God is the subscriber that matters the most, that he's watching our lives. And I want to live in a way that says, God, this reflects how awesome you are. This reflects your glory. The little things, the picking up the sock or clean up after the kids or doing something that no one else will see. Helping the lady carry a box into the store. No one's going to grab a camera. That's not going to be on the 7 o'clock news. But guess what, God? You see it. And I want my life to be that where I can bring God glory through the small, the medium, the big, the supersize, whatever thing I do, whatever category it fits in, I want to do it for him. So I want to challenge you with that. What direction is your life focusing on? Is your life aligned with that purpose of glorifying God? Are you doing things you don't know why you're doing them? I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. I'm doing it because they did it. I'm doing it because they... No, what are you doing? Seek God about that. Because glorifying God is not a religious thing. It's a being a rooted thing. It is being rooted and ready to live for God. So think about that as we end this video today. What ways is your life aligned with that purpose to glorify God? 1 Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Thanks for joining for this edition, day 28 of our series, Rooted and Ready, verses that will grow your faith and transform your life. For more information about our ministry, please visit proclaimministry.com. And until tomorrow, peace.